welcome to another Watcher of Realms video, and in this video I am going to be running through the Easter Challenge event, like the last stage, the hardest stage when it comes to fighting your merit and the kind of stage as it stands. And just running through the team I used. It might not be the best team for you, but you might have been looking around and not found a team that works for you. This could be one that actually works. This was the same as last year, but I looked at my channel, I don't think I had one. Last year, I don't think I put a video up for it. And I used a pretty similar team from what I remembered using last time around. And it's pretty straightforward. The basics of the team are very accessible for sure. Okay, guys, so we're going to go through the team I'm going to be using here. And some of the easy accessible key characters we're going to have are going to be the healers. This is going to be very nice in terms of their range is very good. If we look at the healer range of these, both these characters have the same sort of range. It's just the extended range. It's kind of piercer range plus the 3s on the side, which is really, really important for later on in the fight. Early on in the fight it is a nice bonus, but later on in the fight it's very important for how we're going to do things. And the other key character is going to be a piercer, but he's going to be very accessible. I think most of you should have one of these. This guy maxed out. Liam is legit. He's the old school kind of poison, which has been renamed to neurotoxin, where it does continuous true damage equal to 1% of the target's max HP per second, stacking up to 3 times. Now, the boss has crazy high HP, and when we come to actually taking out the boss, this character is going to be extremely useful for that. Otherwise, he's basically not going to be used. He's only when we take out the boss, because we're going to do this in 2 phases. The first phase is going to be taking down the enemies on the map, and the second phase is going to be, we're going to be focusing the boss purely. And you can do it like that. If you want to try and do it all at the same time, you can try and do it all at the same time. It's up to you. Now, if you have got a Piercer Lord, do take one in. The better one, obviously, to take in would be someone like Ivar. He can actually do damage himself. That is how I did it. And if you've got Ivar, someone like Silas, single target damage is what we're kind of after here. But if you haven't got Silas, but you do have Ivar, even like Hex or Yuri here, someone who's single target that does pretty significant damage. Both of those would be pretty good. The other faction that was pretty obvious is kind of Nightmare. I think Nightmare is a good faction. Let me just remove Piercers. And again, if you've got the big Lord Toreador, take him in, and then try and take in a bunch of other characters. So for instance, if you've got Wukong, people with a little bit of range, because we might be placing characters back. Arrogance is pretty good for this. And who else should we take in? Should we take in someone else? I think we'll leave it at that for the Nightmare units. And then basically you want to take in your highest damage dealers. Whoever your best damage dealers are on your roster. For me, is going to be Ingrid. I'm not going to use her early on in the fight. It's mainly for the boss. So if you have Praetus, we work exactly the same way. You just would use him for the boss. Unfortunately, the big bonus of Praetus is you could try and cheese it and make Praetus your Lord. And then obviously you get the lightning strikes where you can clear the enemies on the map a bit quicker. And that way you can get onto the boss fight nicer. Another good damage dealer for me is Ardea. Really good range. And where I place her really nice. If you have someone like Eris, would work the same way. Obviously Eris can be used with Ingrid Lord. Basically just try and bring your best damage dealers. These are the only key characters though. These 3 here. Liam, Hollow, and Vortex. The rest is basically just based on what you have in your roster, how you can do the damage, and you'll see the placements. A lot of them you need at least 2, but 3 hopefully platform units. So you could bring Yuri instead of Ingrid if you don't have Ingrid, because he's a platform unit. She'll get the bonus from the Nightmare units, or you could put her up here to get extra range. I think she might need extra range. No, she wouldn't need extra range. So she could get a bonus from the Nightmare units. You could bring the Infernal faction if you had better Infernals. You could try and switch it up and then bring someone like Hex instead, and then maybe even Setrum. If you need at least, I say, 3 platform damage dealers, and then the rest have to be melee. You'd have to have at least, I say, 3 or 4 melee characters and at least 1 decent tank. And that's why Toreador is pretty good, because you can play that Lord role at the same time. Let me just show you how I set things up. Okay, so I had to restart my game and mute the volume because it was crazy loud. If you're going for piercers, you want to put 1 piercer here, and you want to mirror another piercer on the other side looking up here. And basically these piercers will be able to take out the 2 enemies. We're not going to use these 2 characters here. And we're not going to place them too early either. We're going to wait until we gather a little bit of cost. But Pierces seem to be a good way to go just because these first two sets of characters, you'll be able to take out both with the range increase that you're going to get. If you're using an Epic Lord, you can just use Epic Lord plus have Yuri or Silas or Hex getting the bonus. So straight away you see this Glacial Purge come in. The timing seems to be, for me at least, after that you can drop in some characters, which I'm just about to do. And get a damage dealer and a healer down on each side. Make sure the healers are facing inwards with their extended range. That way they can heal this corridor. Now the way the boss works, he attacks the last place character. And every time he attacks them, you can see he's going to add a freeze stack. And you do not want your healers to get like frozen. So we're actually going to put down Ardea. We're going to wait a couple of seconds because if we do it too early, she'll have her ult during the cold snap when the drop comes in. We definitely don't want that. So the cold snap should come in soon. There we go. And we want the timing of her ult to be safe, basically, where she's doing it now, as you can see, like, because when she does her ult, she obviously loses HP. We will have people healing. This is what Ardea is about. Look at that. She clears the enemies. You can have anyone who does reasonably decent AoE here doing this. Another cold snap comes in, but she hasn't got the ult. She has been frozen. We can allow characters to get through. We've got 2 enemies get through. You can have up to 2 get through. If you get a third go through, you're in problems. Your big problems. The boss will take damage from Ardea here, but it shouldn't be too much of a problem. Now you saw I just eliminated the 2 mages on the left and the right. This is the first wave of mages. There is a second wave of mages that come in. You also need to kill them when they're in range, because there will be another wave of mages that comes in from the bottom with the top ones. And that can be problematic because they can freeze. Those also add stacks of this freeze thing to characters, where I think it's 3 stacks and they get frozen. And they can freeze your healers, which is very problematic indeed. We're just going to pop her. We have got the extra characters, because if I place a character here, the character coming from the bottom should attack that character over other characters, and it's just like removes a little bit of the heat, should I say, from my characters. So you can see the mages in the top right and the top left are spawning. We've got to take these guys out. Very, very important. Cold Snap's going to come down. We do have to place another melee character here, and I'm going to just pop my ults of my characters, and if I need to, like you can see my character's just got frozen on the right hand side, I'm going to place down him, and maybe a little bit of a distraction, as you see. Nothing too crazy, but a little bit of a distraction. And then we're just going to auto ult. There we go. And what we can do is can put down Ingrid here. Put down the tank. This is where we're saving the tank for. And we can just change. I think, can we change Ingrid to single target mode? That's kind of what we want to do. Yeah, there we go. Oh, did we change her? I'm not sure. Sometimes she can be a bit weird. So once we've taken out all these enemies, that's job done. What we want to do is we basically want to proc the boss's next phase. It doesn't matter how we do it. You know, we just want him to get down to 50% or so. I can't remember exactly what the HP that it needs to get down to is. Is it 50%? I think it's Ancient Lineage that gets procced. It might be tough to actually get to proc. We might have to sell. You might have to sell your characters to proc it. We'll see. I'll sell him. We'll sell the characters that can't hit, because there's no point healing these guys up. I don't want to try and... is he doing... Yeah, there we go. He's doing Ancient Lineage now. This is what we wanted to proc. This is where he goes into the next phase. I think it's like 35%. And he probably is going to kill your characters, as you can see. Very close to killing all my characters. But we're just going to sell these characters. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to fast forward to a point where all of my characters are available to be placed. but also where he's just about to do this. You see it's going up. It's constantly going up. That's when he did the flyover, massive damage. So we've got to try and nuke him in that time if we can. And I think we might have to wait until the next one. We'll have to wait and see. But no, we should be okay. We should be okay. Okay, so he's going to do the flyover. And the second he does the flyover, it's three flyovers. And then we can go to 1 speed. And then we can start placing characters. And have your healers on the sides facing up so that they do actually heal the characters in the corners. And just try and do as much damage as possible. It's pretty much as simple as that. The second he does his heal, we'll burst. So I'll do all my ults. There we go. And you see this guy on the side. He is I'll just do auto ult at this point. He is constantly doing his ult, and it's doing quite like this is the 3%, 1% of the enemy's HP constantly. So it's obviously pretty decent. And we just have to take out all of his HP before he goes into flyover mode, or he might nuke my entire team. If he does do that to you, you might want to try to pre-sell some characters to try and time it. But we're going to get it done. The Glacial Purge would have healed. Might have been a problem. But it's pretty much as simple as that. Air quotes. Simple as that. I'd say, like I said, the 3 characters are quite key. The 2 healers just for their range. And his damage is kind of going to be underrated. It's mainly just the boss fight. But it definitely makes the boss fight easier. The rest is based on your roster. You know who your best damage dealers are. If you're very new to the game, this is going to be very difficult. But I think if you've been playing for like a year or maybe even 6 months, because I think when this originally came out, it was about 8 months or so into the game, maybe 10 months, and it was difficult, but it was still doable. You're obviously going to have pretty decent gear as well as some decent characters at that point. If you've been playing for a long time, you should have some pretty good characters and some decent awakenings, and just bring in your best damage dealers. Just make sure your damage dealing melee characters have more than 1 range. Just because if you do place the tank down and you need to damage over the top of them, well, that's kind of what you got to do. You've got to have at least 2 range for that to actually occur. So that's pretty much it. Gear's pretty standard. Just heavy damage dealing gear on all your characters. Infernal Roar, 100% crit rate, some decent crit damage. Standards, nothing too crazy. Just standard gear when it comes to trying to get the best out of your damage dealers. Artifacts, same sort of deal, trying to get the best out of your damage dealers. I don't actually use Wukong that much. It's hard to place him in front of the boss. But we did try at the end. I think we got 1 ult off. But it's mainly your ranged characters that are going to do the job here. Hopefully this has been helpful in any way for you. Like I say, if this wasn't, if it maybe give you half the way there, maybe it gave you an idea about Liam, check out some other people's videos. Hopefully you can get there. You have got the entire event to complete this. This isn't a daily thing. So you have, I believe, the full 14 days at the top here to complete this story. I believe it's the full 14 days. So you never know. You could pull a character during this that's going to make the difference. I don't know how good Valderon is for this. I don't think he's that amazing. Anora might be okay. But, yeah. Best of luck, guys. Hopefully this is useful. Take care. And I'll see you in the next video.